Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so the NWSL might be on an international break, but things are definitely not quiet.
Not at all.
It's prime free agency time, and honestly, the list of players is we could see some like huge moves shaking up the second half of the season.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is it's not just about plugging holes, is it? These moves, these strategic shifts, they can totally redefine a team's identity, their whole competitive edge, really, mid-season.
Right, it's like building a whole new puzzle, but with some, really sought after.
Hmm.
And that's basically our mission today. We've looked at a bunch of sources talking about the 10 players getting the most buzz right now. So we're going to unpack their stories, try to understand why they're such difference makers, and think about what their moves could mean for the whole league. So yeah, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's kick things off with Sophia Wilson. Her year's been, wow, transformative. Personally, she and her husband, Michael Wilson from the Cardinals, are expecting their first child.
Them.
And professionally, what a career with the Thorns already. First pick, 2020 draft, whole career there so far, led them to the 22 championship.
And scored like, what, 4 minutes in?
Exactly, just 4 minutes into the game, and she was the championship and league MVP that year.
Yeah, that early goal says so much about her immediate impact. But, thinking beyond the MVP stuff, her coming back after the baby, that brings up some really interesting tactical questions.
How so?
Well, for the Thorns, right. It's about fitting this huge star back into a system that's probably changed a bit while she's been out. And if she goes somewhere new, that team needs to figure out how to build their attack around her deep playmaking, especially considering, fitness ramp up and everything. It's more than just talent, it's that strategic fit.
That's a really good point. So, how tough is it really for a player at that level to jump back into the NWSL intensity after having a baby?
Oh, it's incredibly tough, no doubt. But for someone like Wilson, with her game intelligence, it might be less about pure speed and more about getting her rhythm back. The real test is probably how fast she can reconnect with her vision, her passing lane. That's her superpower, right?
Yeah.
So any team thinking about her is betting on that mental sharpness just as much as, her physical return.
Right, right. And speaking of iconic players, Trinity Rodman, Wilson isn't the only one from that triple espresso Thorns trio who could be moving. Rodman burst onto the scene with Washington in 21, youngest player ever drafted at the time.
Yeah, I remember that. Big splash.
Totally. And since then, I mean, her skill, the flair, the pink braids, she just brings this energy to the spirit. Now she has been out since April, injured.
Right, that adds another layer.
But everyone's talking about her return and now free agency.
Connecting this to the bigger picture. A player like Rodman, with her skill and marketability, if she joins a new club, that could send serious shockwaves through the league. On the field, off the field, everywhere.
Absolutely.
The injury, though, it adds intrigue, doesn't it? Teams aren't just looking at her amazing talent. They're thinking about the timeline, the strategy for bringing her back.
Yeah.
For whoever gets her, her return isn't just a performance boost. It's a huge story. Great for fan engagement, marketing. She's got that unique brand.
So with that mix of talent and star power, what's the biggest challenge for a team looking to sign Trinity, especially coming off that?
Well, I think it's balancing her long-term development with the immediate pressure to perform. She's still so young, potential through the roof.
Right.
But there's going to be that expectation for her to deliver right away. A smart team would need, a really strong medical staff, good sports science, and a coach who gets how to manage her minutes carefully. No rushing allowed.
Okay, let's switch gears. Kansas City, Baya Zanerato, the Teal Empress. Before the NWSL, she was already banging in goals in China, Brazil. Proven scorer. But she landed with the Current and just boom, won the fans over super quick, got a nickname for her play in their teal kits.
Fits her style, too.
And get this, first half of this season, 2025, she's already matched her entire goal total from 2024. 5 goals.
Wow.
That's a serious comeback from the injury that knocked her out late last season.
Yeah, that's more than just strong, isn't it? It suggests maybe her role's changed slightly, or she's just way more efficient now. For a new team considering her, that immediate offensive punch isn't just about the goals themselves. It's how she scores, how she influences the game around her.
Okay.
She has this knack for pulling defenders, create space for others, and she finds those little pockets in the final third. Not many forwards do that consistently.
So it's like her smarts and her movement off the ball that really set her apart.
Precisely. Her tactical brain, quick decisions under pressure, being calm in front of goal, that's what elevates her. So yeah, for any team needing that instant offensive spark, she's got to be high, even with, the recent injury maybe being.
And sticking with the Current, Captain Lola Bonta.
Oh, yeah, but late days.
Been there since day one, basically, 2021. She started the whole Casey baby chant. They call her the Selly Queen.
She earned that one.
She really is foundational to that club's culture, like the heartbeat of the current.
Mm-hmm.
And on the field, super reliable.
Very.
Plus 23 career game-winning goals, second most in NWSL.
And what's fascinating there, right, is how someone like LaBonta gives so much more than just stats. It's the identity, the culture of the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Her veteran presence, the leadership as captain, that reliability, invaluable, especially, like you said, from the penalty spot under pressure. That's huge. But beyond that, she's always breaking lines with her passing from deep midfield. That combo, defensive stability, leadership, and goal threat. Any team needing that kind of foundational pivot would love to have her.
Right. So it's not just the numbers. It's everything she brings. Locker room, on-field, general.
Exactly. She connects to everything. Breaks up play defensively, launches attacks offensively, anchors the midfield, but can still score at big moments. That makes her a really compelling free agent. She's stability and clutch.
Okay, next up, Midgepur. And wow, what a roller coaster, as our sources put it, her 5 years with Gotham FC have been.
Definitely ups and downs.
Traded there in 2020, breakout year in 21 second in the Golden Boot, MVP finalist.
Yeah, she was on fire that way.
But then, the injuries. Tore her quad, missed a lot of 2023. But get this, she comes back for the champion and assists on both Gotham goals to win the title. Becomes only the second player ever named championship MVP without scoring a goal herself.
Just incredible resilience right there.
And then she tears her ACL early in 2024. Unbelievable. Fans love her. You know, the speed, the nutmegs.
Yeah, her ability to just keep coming back and impacting games, even after major back-to-back injuries like that, it's pretty remarkable.
It really is.
And any team would value what she brings offense, especially that tactical flexibility. She can play wide, central, makes her so hard to defend.
Yeah.
Honestly, coming back twice like that in about a year, that says a ton about her work ethic, her professionalism.
It sounds like that determination is almost as big a factor as her skill on the ball.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
She's one of those players who figures out how to make an impact even when she's not maybe 100% physically, and that's rare. So for a team looking to add some explosive but also smart attacking power, Purse is definitely a high reward kind of player.
Now let's talk about Jess Fishlock, foundational player for Seattle Reign.
Understatement, yeah. She is the Reign in many ways.
I mean, she was there for their very first game over 12 years ago, alongside Pinot and those legends.
Right from the start.
And she scored her first goal for the Reign against Portland in that very first Cascadia rivalry match. Sparked the whole thing.
Set the tone early.
Yeah. She did some loans over the years, but always came back to Seattle. Always home.
Which, raises that interesting question for any team looking at her now. How much does that legacy, that deep connection to one club, weigh against maybe wanting a new challenge, a fresh start somewhere else?
Yeah.
Fishlock embodies so much of the Reign's history. But her value isn't just nostalgia, right? It's her skill, her championship experience, just the sheer amount of high-level games she's played in midfield. She's still relentless in the press, wins duels, still elite in that part of the game.
So for Jess, do you think it's more about her looking for something new, or is it teams wanting her specific mix of like veteran leadership and that on-field?
I think it could be both. For her, maybe it's about finding a project that really genuinely excites her at this stage. For the teams interested, they're looking at someone who not only still performs, but who brings that winning mentality, that tactical smarts, and makes everyone around her better. That's a special kind of value, especially in a league this tight.
Good point. Okay, let's talk goalies. Casey Murphy, North Carolina Courage, anchoring their net since 2020, won 2 challenge cups.
Solid presence back there.
Very solid. Get this, 32 clean sheets between 2021 and 2020.
That's impressive consistency.
And she just finished her first Iron Woman season in 2024, played every single.
Yeah, a reliable veteran keeper like Murphy. She's definitely going to be a hot commodity, especially for teams needing defensive stability for the second half push.
Makes sense.
Her consistency is a key, yeah. But what makes her really stand out is that shot-stopping ability plus her leadership organizing the defense. She's vocal, commands the box well, and her distribution. It's precise. She can start attacks from the back. So she's not just saving shots. She's, helping build the play too.
Critical, isn't it? A keeper who helps start the offense. What kind of team benefits most from that? Like complete skill set?
Honestly, any team serious about a deep playoff run, a keeper who makes big saves and distributes well under pressure, that lets you play out from the back confidently. It's fundamental to modern soccer.
Yeah.
Murphy Could absolutely be that stabilizing force that helps unlock a team's attack.
Interesting. Okay, then there's the teenager phenom, Melanie Barcenas, hometown kid for San Diego.
Yeah, great story.
She's only 17. But watching her play, you totally forget she literally went from the pitch to prom earlier this season.
Yeah, it's easy to forget how young she is.
And she's a regular on the U.S. youth national team.
And what's fascinating here, is this unique spot she's in. Super young, tons of promise, hitting free agency right out of high school. For a team, that's a huge strategic plus. You're not just getting a future star, you're getting someone who can help now, but who could be peaking like 10 years from now. The balancing act for Barcenas herself is interesting too. Does she stay home, keep developing in that familiar environment, or does she maybe look for different tactical challenges, different coaches somewhere else?
So for a team thinking about her, it's like investing in massive potential, but the risk feels pretty low because she's already showing she can play now.
Exactly right. You get a player who's already proven she can handle the NWSL's physicality, the pace, but her ceiling still incredibly high. She's a potential cornerstone piece for long-term building, or even just for adding some dynamic young energy.
Cool. Okay, next on our list, Ji So-yeon, a true trailblazer for Asian players, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Huge figure.
South Korea's all-time leading scorer, 72 goals in 166 games. That's incredible.
Just massive numbers.
And in her first year in Seattle, she became the first Korean player to score in the NWSL. She's clearly beloved there, really valued by the Reign, especially since they're rebuilding successfully. With a pretty young lineup, average starting age is only 24. And right now, she leads the team in successful passes in the final third.
Yeah, her strategic importance for that Reign rebuild, you really can't overstate it, especially with all those younger players around her.
Right.
For another team to potentially get an experienced, creative piece like Joey, that would be a major coup.
Right.
She brings that veteran calm, that tactical intelligence to the midfield, helps guide the younger players. Her ability to just pick out a pass in traffic, keep the ball under pressure.
Yeah.
It's so key for controlling the game's tempo.
So she is basically the master distributor, putting the ball exactly where it needs to go, especially for a younger squad finding its way.
Absolutely. She's the kind of player who seems to slow the game down in her head, sees the pass develop before anyone else executes it perfectly. Any team needing composure, creative passing, just high soccer IQ in their midfield. Ji So-yeon is a seriously attractive option, more conductor than just scorer.
Okay, and finally, rounding out our 10.
Pickett, experienced defender.
Yep, second stint with Orlando Pride now. And she hits free agency as one of the most experienced and versatile defenders out there. Over 150 NWSL regular season appearances.
That's a lot of games.
And she was a huge midseason pickup last year, wasn't she? Helped Orlando lift the championship trophy.
Wow.
They became one of the hardest teams to score on, only gave up 23 goals all regular season.
Yeah, and if you connect that to the bigger picture, players like Pickett, they're the ones who bring that crucial stability, that championship know-how. Her playoff experience, her track record of making teams better in big moments, that makes her such a valuable potential final piece for a team aiming for the title. And she's not just experienced, she's versatile too, right?
Yeah.
Can play outside back, maybe even step into midfield if needed, gives a coach options. Her defensive reads, her communication, top-notch.
So she's kind of the ultimate plug-and-play veteran defender, ready for whatever system or role a contender needs down the stretch.
Precisely. She's got that rare mix of reliability and flexibility that coaches absolutely love, especially late in the season when things get tight, injuries pop up. She knows what it takes to win, and you can't put a price on bringing that mentality into your squad.
Absolutely. So there you have it. I mean, the potential for big moves, for real excitement as these 10 players explore, it's huge, isn't it?
Palpable, yeah.
Every single one of them could be that missing piece for a contender, or maybe the cornerstone for a team building something new. This is where it gets really interesting because their choices, they're going to shape the whole league landscape for the second half and beyond.
And it really makes you, the listener, wonder, right? As these players weigh their options, how much does that lure of a new city, a new system, maybe a chance to totally reshape a team's future? How much does that weigh against comfort, familiarity, team chemistry, or maybe protecting a legacy they've already built?
Yeah.
What's the ultimate deciding factor going to be for each of them? That unique mix of skill, experience, leadership. Where do they best fit? Where do they want to fit?
So what does this all mean for you listening? We'll definitely keep a close eye on these names as we gear up for the second half of the NWSL season. You can follow along with the NWSL free agency tracker online because honestly, the future of the league could be getting decided off the pitch this week.